I pulled up to the stop light and I was waiting to make my right-hand turn. The parking lot to my apartment building ran parallel to the street I was on, but there was no direct entrance from that street. So I had to make a right-hand turn onto Royal St. George and then an immediate right-hand turn into the parking lot. So I was sitting there at the stoplight trying to waiting to make my right-hand turn because there was no right-hand turn on red. And this corner was the corner of the parking lot, but it was a grassy knoll, and there was a sign that had the name of the apartment, a nice big wooden sign with Heritage Hill Apartments on it. And flanking the sign on both sides were bushes, and it was a nice manicured grassy knoll. And the sign was set up on a hill, so it was sort of a drainage, nice triangular little grassy knoll, but the sign was up on a hill, so you had, sitting there at the stoplight, I actually had to kind of look up and to the right to see the sign of the apartment buildings. And I was sitting there, I was kind of looking at it, and I noticed that halfway down this little slope in front of the sign was a book bag. And the time of day was 3 o'clock, and I had just gotten out of work at 2:30. It took me about a half hour to get home, and it was a Wednesday. It was the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. The light turned green, and I made my right-hand turn, and then another 30 feet, 20 feet, 25 feet, you make an immediate right-hand turn into the parking lot, and I parked right behind the sign, just kind of half on the curb, and against the curb, and I walked around the sign, around the bushes, and kind of half down the hill, and I grabbed the bag, and then I jogged up the hill, made my way through the bushes, and hopped in my car, and then drove. Our apartment at the time was down at the other end of the parking lot, so then I drove down, going back the same direction I had actually been coming from, originally, and parked the car, took the bag inside, and I was thinking, what could be in here? I thought a lot differently than I do now. I mean, nowadays first thing I would have done is try to look for some identification to return the bag. But back then I thought it might have been, this might be a big payday. Maybe it's a bag full of money or drugs or something of value. And I get home, I unzip it, and I look in there, and I remember the contents of this bag. It was one of those rain pouches, a poncho that's folded up and put in a little plastic carrying case for emergencies. So I had a little rain poncho, a yellow one, and it had a weightlifting belt with some initials, scratched into the weightlifting belt. A stinky sweatshirt, maybe another t-shirt, maybe a sweatshirt and a t-shirt or some pair of shorts, but that's it. It was basically empty. So I was like, oh, what the heck? And I threw it in the closet, and I didn't think about it. The weekend passed, and Monday morning I go to work. I found myself Monday afternoon sitting at the same light, making the same right-hand turn. But this time there was a lot of activity going on around the Heritage Hill sign, the apartment building sign, and those bushes. There was police tape all around it, and there was a crime scene van, some detectives, an ambulance, and I was like, something's happening here. So I slowly make the right-hand turn, gawking the whole way, looking, trying to figure out what's going on. They found a dead body in the bushes there behind the sign. And so I was thinking, wonder if that bag had anything to do with the dead body. So I went home and I got the bag and I put everything back in the bag that I could. And I mean, I don't know why, I should have just kept quiet. I gave a time frame when I said that I found the bag on Wednesday and they found him on Monday. And he had been missing since at least Wednesday. They immediately put me in the back of a squad car.